it's a no more English town.
Debbie, you were attending an anti-illegal immigration protest against the issuing of particular consular cards. Can you give us the particulars on what happened there? I understand you were attacked.
Yeah, that is correct. We were at the, it was a school in San Juan Capistrano, and we were protesting the issuance of the matricular consular cards. And as soon as we got there, a woman came up and identified herself as being with the Mexican consulate and repeatedly stated that we were not allowed to be there and that we were not allowed to take pictures. And this was a public school, so we knew we were allowed to be there. And so we went back and forth with her a little bit. She said it was a Mexican event, only for Mexicans, and that she repeatedly said she would call the police. And, you know, we told her she could call the police if she wanted, but if we were allowed to stay there, because we knew that, you know, we knew we were allowed to. And I had a camera with me, and I was taking pictures, mostly to show other people that this goes on, because it's very hard for people to believe that the Mexican government comes on public school property and issues ID cards to illegal immigrants when our government has specifically said that these cards are insecure and, you know, they shouldn't be used. So we had some discussions with her, and at one point some of the organizers said, you know, we shouldn't argue with her, we'll just stand here quietly and peacefully and hold up our signs. So I had a sign and I just held it up in front of my face and covering, you know, my upper body, and then she began to scream at us, and she began to push the sign away so that she could see my face. And in doing so, she hit me in the face a couple of times. At that point, someone distracted her and she left. And we moved around, and I began to take more pictures. And she got very enraged at the taking of the pictures, and she stated that we weren't allowed to take pictures, and that we had to leave, and we had to stop taking pictures of people. And when we didn't stop taking pictures, I had the camera in front of my face, and she began to hit the camera repeatedly so that the camera would come back and hit me in the face. And she did that several times to the point that I got a fat lip. And then at that point, people called her back, and she did back away from the group, although she kept screaming at us.
Now, did you not call the police?
She called the police, actually. Yeah, so the police did arrive after that happened.
When the police arrived, did you register your complaint with them?
I didn't personally. Someone in our group was discussing it, and they spent a very long time on the phone, the police did. They spent a very long time inside, and when the police came out, they advised us that the people were members of the Mexican consulate and they had diplomatic immunity. We assumed that they meant the woman who had, you know, assaulted me. There was some confusion or something at that point, because we specifically thought he was talking about the woman who assaulted me. I don't know if he knew who she was, or, you know, if everything was clear to the police at that point. But we did tell them that we had been assaulted, and he said that, you know, because they were the Mexican consulate, they had diplomatic immunity, and there's nothing they could do.
Now, this woman, have you guys made it clear to the policeman that she is not a member of the Mexican government?
Well, yeah, we had pictures of her, which we emailed around to different people, and actually Lupe Moreno, I knew who she was. And she said she's not with the Mexican consulate, and then she even emailed us some links to the Mexican consulate so we could see exactly who does work for the Mexican consulate here in Southern California, and her name wasn't on it. And her name is actually associated with a nonprofit organization that helps organize, you know, these types of events for illegal aliens, but she did not work for the Mexican consulate.
I believe this woman's name is Patricia Arnaud.
I think her last name starts with an M. Mariscal?
Patricia Mariscal.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, very well. So what's come of the whole thing? You've not followed up on it to have her arrested? Too difficult to do?
We filed a complaint with the police subsequently, so there was documentation of the event. And the Minuteman Project, which organized the event, has filed a complaint with the State Department, and they're sort of letting them investigate at this time.
Okay, so you're a member of the Minuteman Project, are you?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, very good. I hope that they would follow up on it. It's very interesting, though. I myself was attacked and punched in the eye, and all that the sheriff's deputies under Lee Baca did was say that if no blood was drawn, then there was no reason to do anything. No reason for arrest or anything. Did you bleed?
No. I just had, I had a fat lip. But mostly it swelled up later.
So you actually don't expect much to come off of this?
No, not as far as the legal incident.
So it's just another American being attacked by an advocate for the presence of illegal aliens. Possibly she might even be an illegal alien herself. Who knows? Nobody knows.
Right.
And it's just one more of thousands of attacks upon Americans.
You know, something that was very interesting is when the police got there, of course they asked us all for ID, and we showed us our ID. She didn't have any ID with her. And she said, why I didn't drive here, so I don't have a driver's license. And then they asked for the paperwork because they said there's a process that you have to go and you rent, and they couldn't even find the paperwork that they were supposed to have rented the building. So it was kind of ironic. Not only they passed illegal alien ID cards, but they didn't even have any documentation to be in the building where they were. And she didn't have any identification with her.
How does this make you feel about the role that American law enforcement play when it comes to these kinds of things?
It was very upsetting. I'm a longtime citizen of Orange County. Obviously, I'm a resident here, a property owner. I pay taxes here, and I expect them to be working, for us, for the American citizens, and not for the Mexican government. And it's really true of all our elected officials. The fact that they're even allowed to do this, to be on school property, to be on, to issue these cards. And basically, it seems like everybody's pandering to the Mexican consulate and the Mexican.
It almost appears like they're afraid. The sheriff's deputies, at least in my case, it appears to me like they were afraid to confront the illegal aliens that we had called them to tend to for loitering. There seemed to be a definite fear factor in there. Did you sense the same thing?
With other experiences I've had involving day laborers, different situations where I've had to deal with Orange County law enforcement, generally what happens is they take us aside and they'd say, we really wish we could do something about this problem. We're really on your side, but we've been told we just can't. So we just can't. And as a matter of fact, this is a little off subject, but we were at a day labor site in Lake Forest about 2 weeks ago, and as we were leaving, some just people that were not with our group, there was some sheriff there pulled over, and they were giving the sheriff such a hard time. They're saying, if we did this, we'd be arrested. I got a ticket for not wearing a seatbelt, and these people jumped, 10 in a car with no seatbelts, and you just let them drive off, and they were going on and on about the sheriff. And the sheriff was just sitting there looking miserable, and he just kept saying, I can't do anything about it. I can't do anything about it.
As an American citizen, as a woman, as a member of the Minuteman Project, what would you say to American policemen?
You need to step up and you need to take a chance. You need to follow the example of Sheriff Joe in Arizona, and you need to arrest the criminals and the illegal immigrants, and the American people will support you because that's what we want, and you work for us ultimately.
Well, Debbie, thank you very much for serving America. God bless you and keep on doing it.
Sure. Anything for you.
My neighbor, but something changed. I'm home no longer. I'm a stranger, and I used to be